Casting with Ceri Jones.
Hi guys, and welcome to this week's podcast. With the trout season now over, some turn to the rivers for their grayling fix, while others get back to the vice. My guest, however, has been busy with most of his time organising one of the biggest shows in the fly fishing calendar, the Irish Flyfair. This week, I chatted with him ahead of the show to see how his season has been and what to expect in this year's event. Welcome to my chat once more with Stevie Munn. Hello Stevie, how you doing?
Still above the sod, as they say over here.
So how's life in Belfast then?
It's okay. I'm busy. I'm really just busy now, because I'm busy organising my show. So
Yeah, well,
just really busy. It's just inundated with emails, absolutely inundated.
It's been good to chat again. It's a 12 months ago. Actually, I chatted to you last.
It was a good while ago.
It was just coming up to the show then. And I did plan maybe to meet up during the season, but it didn't happen as one of those things. But maybe next year. So how was your season?
My season, to be honest, this year was very patchy. I would call it patchy. I probably didn't fish as often as I should have, but I was a bit short for time this year because I put so many fly tyers in the show. In Galway we used to have 25, now I've got 91.
Good God.
There's over 500 people working at the show this year, so and most of them are sending me emails every day. So the fishing season was cut in half because of it, basically.
Yeah.
But I did a bit of fishing, of course I did. But it was okay. It was patchy. I had some nice trout. I did have some nice trout. I had a couple of nice trout off Lough Corrib.
Oh, you went to Enniskillen?
I fish Enniskillen in the Mayfly time every year.
Right.
There's a wee club I've been in, and I've been going up and down to Enniskillen for over 30 years. So every time we take about 5 days on Enniskillen.
Even though I had fished it twice years ago, it was on my bucket list, and I made sure this year I did fish it. And I had 3 or 4 days on it this year during the Mayfly. Wow, blew my mind.
Aye, it's some place. Like it can be a hard place to catch fish at times.
Oh yeah.
Enniskillen's never been an easy loch, but it produces large fish all the time, and I think that's why people keep returning to it.
Yeah.
Enniskillen's one of the few places where you're gonna, the average size seems to be a lot bigger.
Yeah, I learned a lesson. I did on leader. You could say I've used fluorocarbon, most of the time.
Yeah.
But on this one day, I think it was the second day I fished it, I broke into 4 fish, and I thought, that's it. Let's just go straight in the bin. Nothing wrong with the fluorocarbon. I got faith in it, but I just, the guys I was with each day, they were just Maxima Green. I thought, why change? So I went on it, and I did manage to land one of them, and then I lost one.
Well, the funny thing you say that, because for years, like I tried all different kinds of mono and fluorocarbons and all sorts of different things. But when I'm on the loch, my faith is totally in Maxima Green, So and when I used to go over to Canada quite a bit to fish for steelheads and salmon and stuff.
Yeah.
We used to host trips over there quite a bit, and I noticed all the guides over there were using Maxima too, so it's a bit bulletproof,
Yeah.
Bulletproof. Not the thinnest, but it's bulletproof.
The thing is, your confidence.
I quite like that Witchwood. I quite like Witchwood did one called I'm saying that on my dry fly. When I'm fishing dry flies, I do use low carb at times, but when I'm pulling wets or fishing normal, but whatever, nymph fishing or wet fly fishing, I do return to Maxima.
Yeah.
But I use Ghost when I'm dry fly fishing sometimes.
Ghost.
Ghost. Aye. There's Witchwood do one called Ghost.
All right, I'll never try that.
It's become a wee bit popular, become the local anglers around the Rhino, they sort of used it, and I have used it for my dry fly fishing and had no problems with it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that what I learned is like on all the lochs over there, really, they're all wild, but especially Sheelin, they're more savage takes, I think. Whereas I've been fishing £6, £7, maybe even £8 fluorocarbon over here for the rainbows and stuff, and you got total faith in it. But they were snapping like a carrot over there. We're playing with it,
Aye. Well, I use for the dry fly on Steeling, I use £9 Britain spoon. Yeah. And for pulling wets, I differ between £6 and £8 Maxima green.
Yeah.
So that's basically what I used all the time.
Yeah. And you're gonna.
And saying that, I've been smashed. I was smashed on Sheelan one time by a huge fish, but and that was £8 Maxima.
Yeah.
That fish was a real big fish, huge.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward. It was the hatch that blew my mind really more than anything, because I spent like weeks on Corrib, and it didn't really happen this year. It was quite sparse, the hatches, but I went up to Sheelan.
The weather was against us a wee bit,
Easterly, wasn't it, for ages?
It was cold, and even on Sheelan, the spent fishing wasn't great this year because the fly came up, it hatched, and there was thousands and thousands of them dancing. But as soon as the temperature dropped, they all went back into the trees, and the fishing was very, very sporadic on Sheelan this year, I thought too, But that's often Sheelan, somebody will come in and somebody will have an £8 or a £6, his night's made, you know what I mean, or his day's made, So I was thinking, it's Sheelan to get one big one, you're laughing,
Yeah, that's it. That'll make a massive difference then. But what I noticed as well, you think the mayfly, there were clouds of them, mega clouds of them.
Yeah.
And they were in and amongst the trees, and then you'd look at the trees closer, and there'd be thousands of them just dead. So they'd take 2 years to hatch, and if it's too cold for them, they'd just die. It's mad, isn't it?
I know, it's mad. But of course, that's the mayfly. The mayfly's not going to live long after it hatches anyway.
No.
It's basically hatch, have sex, and sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep or get it. That's
right. Did you do any of the Dollahan fishing on your 6 mile water?
I've done a bit. The 6 mile did have a good run of Dollahan. I've done a bit. I never had nothing massive this year. Probably my biggest fish was about 6. So I didn't have anything really. About £6.
Jeez, that's good.
Really big. It's a good fish. Of course, it's a good trout, but that used to be a very common size back in the day. The big fish are still there, but not as many. I didn't think. The 6 mile is a wee bit lucky because it has a harbour with jet boats and stuff going out of the where the river runs into the loch. So it doesn't get netted, that area. So London Bay doesn't get netted to the same extent that some of the other bays on the loch do. I've seen a bit of a decline in the Dollagan, unfortunately, over the years. But
are they silvery then?
They're very, very. They can be. Well, they can be. It depends where they're feeding. It depends. The same as Lough Sheelan. If you get a fish in Lough Sheelan down in Bog Bay, he's usually a buttery colour. Down there where he's been feeding on buzzers. But if you get him further up the loch where he's over the limestone or over the sand, he'll be a silvery colour. And it's the same in It's the same in Lough Neagh.
Yeah.
Although there used to be more silverfish, I think a lot of them have been netted out, the bigger silverfish.
Yeah.
But it's certainly their habitat. It's certainly their habitat. And of course when they come into the rivers, then they'll go darker colour, like the autumn colours.
Yeah.
They will, like the salmon or sea trout. They'll take the autumn colours when they're spawning.
Yeah.
But
I found
a lot of lads done really well this year. I didn't spend enough time at them this year, probably.
Yeah. You can't do everything, can you? There's a list.
You can't do everything. You can't do everything.
But the season's run away with us, and it's over before as soon as it started. I can't complain. I'd done lots, been to many places, but the fishing was okay. Yeah. Nothing really special.
I think the weather this year beat a lot of people. The rivers were up and down. There was a lot of water, and there was no water. My local rivers were up and down, and my loch fishing was cold. There was cold winds for a long time, part through the summer, where you'd normally be fishing, in the evenings with a shirt sleeve. You certainly weren't fishing shirt sleeves this year.
No. No.
Cold winds.
Well,
wins, you know.
being as the season's finished now, there's one thing focused on your mind is the Irish Flyfair, which you do.
Yep.
When does the preparation start for that? I can imagine you're full on now. I'm surprised you had time to chat, to be honest.
Well, I've been working on it all year, so to be honest. So, but really, you know, it's a massive undertaking now because with so many people there. You know, it's got about 90 odd flight tyers this year. Where Galway used to have 24, so it's got a massive amount of international flight tyers coming. And we go down next week to start building it. So I'll be leaving on Tuesday.
Is it?
And then we start Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday's the day of the show, and then Monday I'll take down and pack off, you know. But
the last time we spoke, it was because you were like saying you didn't really know what it was going to be like because it was the first time.
It was where I would move venue, but I had to move venue. Yeah. After sort of COVID and Brexit, sort of our hand, it was a different world, so we had to move it back in the North End and the Northern Ireland, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But we had to come across the border. It was a bit strange, but we kept it close to the border. And I was a bit worried that the boys wouldn't come from the south, but they did. There was boys from Cork and all over the place, all over the world. To be honest, we do get people from all over the world. We get a really good international following. And last year was probably one of the busiest shows we've ever had.
Oh, was it?
So yeah. It was manic. The gate was manic on the Saturday. It was manic, and it was quite busy on the Saturday. So yeah, it was really, really good. We had about 3,000 people through the door. Wow. So it was really good, you know. And a lot of people like our show because it's in a nice place. You know, it's warm. It's in a hotel. It's not in a tent or a big hall. You know, it's in a nice hotel. So a lot of people come just to make a weekend of it now. You know, turn it into a bit of a party.
Yeah, it's nice by the sound of it, on a carpet and warm. Because I did go last year or year before actually. I missed it last year, the BFFI.
Aye.
And it's well attended and it's a big event.
Of course.
But it's almost, well, you know, it's nothing like a hotel room you can see. It's like one big open.
We sort of inherited that when we first started doing it. Because I sort of got the idea for running an Irish Flyfair when I was working at the BFFI and the Dutch Flyfair. I think the Dutch Flyfair was probably the first Flyfair.
Yeah.
And you know, ours has been going there a good wee while, but I looked at it and wondered why we didn't have a Flyfair. But then I never had the money to throw at it. You know, I didn't have the money because the Flyfair takes a bit of money to run, especially the way we do it. So
$1 million to run?
No, it doesn't take $1 million. It says it takes a bit of money to run.
All right.
If it took $1 million to run, I wouldn't be doing it.
You'd be in the sun doing a podcast.
I would be somewhere. Maybe I would be somewhere in Mexico fishing for bonefish.
Next year we'll do it, right?
Aye. This time next year we'll be middle of the years, Rodney.
If you're enjoying this podcast and want to listen to more, please consider becoming a Patreon. When you get weekly podcasts, plus get access to over 200 episodes, visit patreon.com/casting with Ceri Jones or visit my website, castingwithcerijones.com. And Stevie has also put forward a pair of tickets to the event for this week's Patreon competition. Details of the competition will be put up on my Patreon page this weekend. No.
Oh, God. So it takes me a bit of money. So I went to a company and they helped me with it, you know, and then they bailed out because they didn't make money. So, but then after that, I take over it, you know, and it's been a good success. It brings a lot of people from all around the world together, you know. So
yeah. And you get new faces as well, because no doubt there's people.
We get an amazing amount of people asking to come and tag. You know, and they're from all over the world, which, you know, and we got an amazing lot of people, you know. I think we got about 200 people asking last year. This year, I think it was about 250, just wanting to come and tag at our show. So we get it's a great a great get together.
Do you find the fly tie-in is growing as a business?
I think it is. I think maybe this is the social media side of it.
Yeah.
I'm not really mad on social media, though. No. We do use it. Of course, we use it in this world. We need to use it for especially if we're self-employed. I'm sort of lucky. My sister does a lot of the social media for the show. You know, Lillian, she does a lot of work for it. So I thank her a lot. because she does the social media really for my show, you know.
All right. Yeah.
But I think the fly tyers, like, you know, the social media side of it, it's definitely brought the fly tying community closer together, and I think it's up to everybody's game a bit too, you know.
And it's an easier platform to show your skills than fishing.
It is.
I mean, fly tying is just it's accessible.
Of course, very, very accessible to everybody, you know.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that better than Davy McPhail, you know. So you look at Davy McPhail 10 on YouTube. You know,
Yeah.
loads of people watching Davy now 10. You know, I've learnt by Davy on YouTube. You know, so the social media is the same sort of platform. You know.
There's an amazing standard there in our mind, isn't there? I mean, like different level of
frightening. I tied a lot of flies, and I tied commercially at one time when I was young.
Yeah.
And I just look at the flies now and think, my God, you know, some of the artists out there, like, you know, really too nice to put on a fly on a line. No, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You know,
on the materials you can get now.
Aye, of course, all them genetic materials and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then you have to also remember, like, if you're using a fly as a fishing fly or using it as a fly for a fly to look at, because sometimes you don't want your hackle too stiff, you know. You do, and you know, sometimes you need a softer hackle just to sit in the water film or something, you know. And some of the best dry flies I've come across were tied with softer hackles, you know, so they're sitting on a surface film, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I'm all for it. Most of my flies are hen hackles. I don't know about cock hackles. I don't do a lot of, well, for still waters now. Even when the fishing dries, there rather a bit of movement in the dries. On the rivers, it's different. I suppose you can, you know, you need the cock hackles.
Well, I fish a lot of rivers. I fish both. And I remember when I was going over to Norway, and I was doing a bit of guiding over there for grayling and trout on the Trestle River. This guy called Espen, and Espen was a great dry fly fisherman. He caught 90%, maybe 95% of his fish and dry fly. You know, and in these two patterns, and they were like a palmered pattern, but one had a glow bright tail in it. And, but they were palmered, and they were tied with soft hackles.
Yeah,
they were tied with soft, but like a soft cock hackle. They were tied like with soft cock hackle, you know, a webby hackle. You know?
I find it hard. I tell you something I found hard the last couple of months is getting a good black hen cape. I don't know if it's a common thing or what, but it's like
Well, here's the thing, and I think this is why it's so successful to the boys who sell the feathers. Fly tyers, I think, need to look at their hackles before
absolutely, yeah.
You know, and we have so many fly tyers come to our show, so there's a market there already for the boys that are selling feathers.
Yeah.
You know, so but yeah, I think that's why the people come to our show. The fly tyers want to look at the materials before they actually purchase them. You know.
Yeah.
So you can pick your favorite, your best hen hackle out of the bunch. You know.
Yeah.
But I.
Do you demonstrate? I don't suppose you haven't got time. You're sort of overseeing it all.
I used to tag and cast at a lot of shows.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you used to do the casting a lot, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I've done a lot of casting demos for a lot of different companies. But I still do that now and again. I'll still do casting demos because, you know, I'm still working with rods and stuff, like I'm working with cadence rods at the minute. I'm working with a lot of different companies.
I was going to say, you're still with Cadence, yeah?
I'm still with Cadence. Yep, I'm still with Cadence. We're doing a range of my rods and fly lines at the minute still. We have tweaked them a wee bit, you know, so we've slightly better cork and all this. And the graphics has changed on the newer ones, but we're still selling a few Cadence rods every month. So, yeah, we're still with them at the minute.
Cool. One of the things I asked you, what was your goals? And you said this year, ideally you'd like maybe to go to Norway again, grayling fishing. Or I take it that didn't happen.
It didn't happen. It just didn't happen. Normally it's in September I do, you know, so it's just the way it fell. It didn't happen, you know. But I've got quite an old mum that my sister looks after, so like I wasn't able to go away getting this year, really, you know.
In the UK, you know, like I've stopped for the season now. I will go maybe once for the grayling. It's not my thing really, but a couple of boys here, you know, they just mad into it, you know.
Oh, I like grayling fishing, so I did like grayling fishing. But in Norway, I liked it in Norway because the grayling in Norway are very free raising, so you weren't having to nymph fish really for them, or check nymph or whatever.
Yeah.
But so you could raise fish, and I liked it in Norway, especially grayling fishing in Norway. I thought it was unreal. Plus, you've got beautiful scenery around you.
I know.
And you've only got a wee window to fish it in. There's a couple of months, and then it's winter. So
that's right.
we were fishing.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Norway fishing. So
we have got really good grayling fishing around here, to be honest.
In Wales.
Yeah. In fact, there's I think it's this month. I think it is the Hannock, which is up in North Wales.
Yeah.
The competition, they have that every year. What would be your goal for next year then?
Good question.
Get out more, perhaps. Yeah.
I'm not even sure. Just keep fishing. That's probably it. Just keep fishing. I've got arthritis now. I'm starting to get into my late 50s, and I've got arthritis from my fishing.
Was that why you were in hospital last week?
I have spinal synopsis in my neck. I had a bad fall when I was younger, in my 20s, and I have spinal synopsis in my neck. So I was getting an X-ray in my spine. But so I'm worried. I'm in pain, but that's a whole lot of people are in pain.
Do you know what? I've noticed it only just recently. It creeps up on you without knowing, doesn't it? And all of a sudden, when I wake up in the morning, just sometimes, only sometimes, my legs hurt, and I think, oh shit.
Waiting. Ceri, don't be talking too much. We'll put everybody off.
Well, it could be maybe all the wading over the years. You never know. We're starting to get to it.
Of course. I stayed in rivers for a long time. Totally cold,
And you know what?
Especially when I was guiding back in the day,
Yeah.
Just stand for hours with people in rivers,
I actually fell in this year on
Did you?
the river. Yeah. My phone. I'm surprised my phone's working. I was dying. Something always goes each week. Well,
there's a river I fish, the River Main, and there's a bottom end of it, and it's really, really stony. So I fall in there about 3 times a year. It's really hard to wade in places, and it's just inedible. You're going to fall in. I remember falling in about 3 or 4 seasons ago, and I actually hooked a big trout, a big dollar. It came up into the river, and I was fishing, and there was a bit of a fresh on it. It was that sort of colour just before she went too dirty.
All right.
And I hooked this big fish and just kept heading upstream. And it was a big dolligan, but it was a really big dolligan. It was probably 15 pounds.
Oh,
big fish. And but like my biggest is about 17, but it was a long time ago. so this thing went up past me, and I was fishing a single-handed raw bait, and the next thing it went downstream, and I tried to follow it for a while by wading downstream on the reel with it, and it didn't go too well anyway. I fell over, and by the time I got back up, the rod was straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I fell over in the river. Like I was head under job. You know what I mean? So,
was it? I haven't done it. I've never done it.
Proper head under job.
I don't know if it's age that does it, right? But it's like I've gone in twice this year.
No, well, I've been falling in the rivers all my life, so I'm not sure it's age. And I know a lot of people have too. I know I fished with quite a few famous anglers, and back in the day, and I've good stories about most of them falling in. Don't want to mention any names.
I'm going to invest. I'm going to invest in a wading staff, I think.
I think it's important. I do carry wading staff. I have one of them collapsible ones.
All right.
Fits in a wee holster.
As much as your legs then? Collapsible.
Aye. Fits in a wee holster. But at times I use it. And when I was in Norway, I did use it often. I used it. We didn't stick. The rivers were big rivers we were fishing. The Treasel's the biggest in Scandinavia. Big river. So we did, and we told our clients, we didn't stick handy sometimes.
It's frightening, mind you, go to a big river. Only once I've fallen in a big river, and that was scary.
Aye.
I was crossing this river, right, in Iceland it was. I can't remember which river it was now. The Tungaflut, I think it was. By this one stretch, it was really, really fast flow. It was only about 50 yards wide, perhaps 60. It was a fair size river.
Yeah.
And this water was rushing down, sort of above your knee it was, but it was fast.
And the pressure.
Yeah. So anyway, I was going slowly, and the guide in front of me was only about a few feet in front. Well, I don't know, sort of 20 foot perhaps. And he was like twice the size of me. So his footing was easier because of the weight. And then next thing, he didn't even know I'd gone. And I just shouted. He didn't hear me because of the rushing of the water. And I went down about 30 yards. And my feet, I could not get my feet down.
It could be a frightening thing.
And it just, I went down probably about 30, 40 yards. And then, but it was like a spit then of shelf, like gravel. And it just pushed me on there. But you can't put your legs down. You just can't.
Well, that's it. Hugh Focus, some people won't remember Hugh Focus probably anymore, but Hugh Focus done a video one time. He was in the 70s, I think, or maybe he was 80s, and he jumped into the river into the pool, and I remember him putting his legs up and saying, lie back and put your legs up and just wave your arms. And I thought, that's good, you know what I mean? And it does, if you put your legs up, you will, and lie on your back, you will float, but it's hard to do that when you're panicking. And that's the problem,
I did lose a full fly box that day. One of the old fox boxes full of flies that day.
I've done the same. One time, Carrie. I lost a box of fly lines and a nice pair of Costa sunglasses.
Oh, did you?
They went down the river too,
Something else I've done this year as well, which I haven't done for a long time. I got hooked twice. One in my finger. Well, no.
You hooked yourself?
Yeah, one in the finger, full in, barb was in.
Oh.
And, luckily, one in the ear, or the back of my ear, but that was barbless, so that came out. Oozing blood, man.
Terrible things.
I know.
I think everybody stuck a hook at themselves at one time, Unfortunately, I've been fishing since I was a child, and I remember sticking one in my hand up the wee lake in Donegal. I was walking around it. There was a wee hill loch, and I was walking around it with this big guy called Jackie Childs. He's dead now, Big Jackie, but he was a good friend of mine. And we were walking around to fish this lake. I was up in the Rosses, and I fell. I had my hand in the stream of place. I was carrying my rod halfway up. I wasn't carrying it by the cork or the handle. I was carrying it halfway up the rod, and I slipped and fell. And my hand came sliding down and hit the middle dropper. And I remember a big hook just going into my middle finger. And then saying to Jackie, pull that out. They put a pair of pliers on it and the thing didn't move. It just didn't move. It was a big barb on it. I remember having to go to the hospital and get the nail cut off.
Did you?
So I did. I sliced up the middle of the nail and took the hook out. But I remember carrying my rod by the handle from then on.
Yeah.
So
I remember one time, actually, it was winter time, so my hands were really cold as it was. And I hooked this fish on my local lake, Lynval, it was a rainbow, it was, but £1.5 pounds.
Yeah.
And I had a couple that day, and they were coming in, and I didn't even use the net, I was being lazy. And I sort of come to the hand, and then this fish came to my hand then, right? And then he slipped out of my hand. He took my top dropper, so imagine he slipped out of my hand, and then the rest of the cast run through my fingers, and the middle dropper then stuck in my the finger next to the little finger, well in. Yes, so I was playing this fish now on my finger, £1.5 pounds. You can imagine what it was.
Oh, sure.
And they were barbed then. But so going back to this event of yours, is to let people know now it's the Killyhevlin. Is that how you pronounce it?
Killyhevlin Hotel. Killyhevlin Hotel. It's in Fermanagh. So it's a Killyhevlin Hotel in Fermanagh in Enniskillen.
Yeah.
It's on the 16th and the 17th of November. So not this weekend coming, but next.
Yeah. And the tickets are 12 quid.
Tickets are 12 quid on the Saturday and a tenner on the Sunday.
Yeah. On a weekend for 20.
We haven't put the price up in over 12 years. So.
Yeah. We'll have to wait till Mexico next year.
It's good value.
Yeah. And then so I noticed you can't have them ordered and sent to you for anybody you want. So you got to. How does it work? Just pay at the door.
You can pay at the door, or you can, if you want to, you can pay online. But your tickets are collected at the door. You know,
All
so
right.
there's just all your tickets will be in the door with your name on an envelope.
So you can book it at irishflyfair.com and then pick them up then as you get there.
Aye, no bar. That's what most people do.
Well, I was hoping to be over this month, but I got too much on, you know, so I'm getting to
you can't be two places at once, man, you know.
I know.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, it's been great to chat, and I'm glad you took our time to give us.
Bro.
And so hopefully, I won't be over now, but unfortunately, but I'll catch up with you at some point soon.
No worries. I hope you have to come over here next season and have a good one. All right.
Well, I hope all goes well with you for the event, and
thank you, mate.
I'm sure you'll be looking forward to a pint when it's all finished.
I'll be looking forward to it when it's all over. So well, but it's good once it's built.
Many thanks, Stevie.
All right, mate. Same to you.
Take care.
All the best.
Bye now.
Bye.
If you've enjoyed this podcast and want to listen to more, please consider becoming a Patreon, where you'll get weekly podcasts and access to over 190 episodes, behind-the-scenes photography to go with each episode, plus other exclusive content and prizes. To become a Patreon, visit patreon.com/casting with Ceri Jones, or you can find the link on my website, castingwithcerijones.com. That's all for now. Tight lines, and may they always be up in the wave.